Hello, third grade. It's me again. So we are going to do a short grammar lesson, and it is not long. It is just going to be really quick review. So we're going to review yet another of those really important pieces of grammar that make us good writers, good speakers, and good readers. And yesterday we reviewed adjectives. And what's an adjective again? Remind me. That's right. It is a word that describes a noun. It's a describing word. And remember, adjectives are so important because they help us picture the things that we're talking about, reading about, listening to. So if I say that I'm reading a long book, what kind of book do you automatically picture me reading? It's probably a book that looks like this, right? Not a book that looks like this. This probably isn't a very long book, whereas this is. Or if I say that I'm reading a colorful book, well, then you can probably assume it has illustrations or pictures, right? Because a novel that doesn't have anything of those probably isn't going to be very colorful. If I say that I'm reading a sad book, so think about like the one and only Ivan. It does end happily, but think about that book or that we read together, or think about Charlotte's Web, some of the sad books that we read together, and that kind of makes you feel something. It makes you say, oh, okay, that's a sad book. It's going to make me feel some sad thoughts, some sad feelings. So that's why adjectives are so important. Today we're going to talk about verbs. Now, let's see. What's a verb? Is it a person, place, thing, or idea? No, that would be a noun, right? We know it's not a describing word. That would be an adjective. Is it a word that replaces a noun in a sentence, like he, she, it, they? Nope, that would be a pronoun. Is it an action? Yes, it is. It's an action. So if we're talking about verbs, I am doing many things while I'm sitting here right now. Well, sitting is a verb. I'm doing many things. I'm sitting, I'm holding a book, I'm looking at the camera, I am talking to you. So there are many different things that I'm doing. So anytime you're talking about anyone or anything doing something, that would be a verb. So my computer is sitting right here. My computer is also videoing. My dog, Evie, is laying on the couch. You might be sitting or standing or walking or laying. You might be holding a phone, or maybe you are watching the computer. So there are many things that we're doing over and over and over again. There's constantly something that we can be applying a verb to. So think about right now, think about what you are doing right now, and think about what verb you are using. So you're listening, right? You're listening to me talk. You're probably watching the video. Like I said before, you may be sitting or standing or lying down. You might be eating while you're watching the video, or maybe you're petting your dog while you're watching the video. Or maybe you're also reading a book. Maybe you were reading a book right before you started watching this video, or completing Google Classroom assignments. So there's so many different things that are actions. So we're going to read a really short poem today, and it's called The Goops. And I hope that you're not goops, and you're going to see why. And while I'm reading the goops, I want you to think about what some of the actions are. What are some of the things that the goops do? So this is a very big book. It's an adjective. Very big book. So I'm going to try my best to hold it so that you can see the picture. So this is a poem we read yesterday with the adjectives about the sugar plum tree. So we're on this page right now, the goops. The goops, they lick their fingers, and the goops, they lick their knives. They spill their broth on the tablecloth. Oh, they lead disgusting lives. The goops, they talk while eating, and loud and fast they chew. And that is why I'm glad that I am not a goop. Are you? So, like I said, that was a very short poem. Now let's think about those goops. Do they have very good manners? No, that's why I said I hope that you're not a goop. I hope that you have better manners than that. And I know that you are capable of having better manners than that. So what are some of the things that the goops do, though? So can you think of one verb that you found while we were reading? So what do they do with their fingers and their knives? They lick them, right? They lick their fingers and they lick their knives. Really bad idea, especially in germ season like right now. Please don't lick your fingers. They spill their broth in the tablecloth. So they make such a mess while they're eating. They spill it. Spill is an action. They talk while they're eating with their mouths full. That is not very good. So they talk. Talking is an action. It's a verb, right? So those were just a few of the actions that we have just in this very short poem. And like I said, verbs are pretty easy to find because someone or something is always doing something. Even if you are sitting there doing nothing, guess what? You're still sitting. Or even if you're lying there sleeping, you're still sleeping. You're still doing something. So what I encourage you to do today is try to find 5 verbs, 5 actions that you or the people or animals around you are doing. So I gave you an example. I said that my dog Evie is sleeping right now. She's oversleeping. So that is an action. That is one action that someone or something around me is doing. So I encourage you to find 5 verbs. If you want to find more, great. I encourage you to find 5 verbs that the people around you are doing or that you yourself are doing. And as a bonus challenge, I encourage you to find 5 more verbs, which would be a total of 10 verbs. Find 5 more verbs in whatever book you are reading. So it can be a book that you're reading by yourself, a book that you read to a sibling. It can be our Chronicles of Narnia book that we read together later. So I encourage you to find 5 verbs in your everyday life around the house that you're doing or your mom's doing or your dog is doing. And then as a bonus challenge, find 5 verbs in a book that you are reading. We found there were at least 5 verbs in that one little tiny poem. It was like 10 sentences. So I think that if you're reading an actual book, even if it is a picture book, if you're reading a picture book, I think that you'll still be able to find 5 verbs. I think that you can do it. So those are my challenges for you today. I will see you a little bit later for math. Have a wonderful afternoon.